Now, going on to the political part of the podcast, you have Vivek Ramaswamy on the Ukraine wanting the U.S. to pay for the elections, or they won't have them at all. So these are all statistics, and then again, I'll read the quote first before I dive in, the like ratios, all that good stuff. It is a little bit long, but let me go ahead and I'll quote it here. So this is a tweet from Vivek Ramaswamy, and he says, quote, Zelensky's vow to forego democratic elections to Ukraine unless the American people foot the bill and cough up another $135 million in funding represents the next level of extortion to the United States. Our nation is being duped by a leader in Ukraine willing to sacrifice his own nation's credibility as a quote-unquote democracy in a gambit to secure even more money from U.S. taxpayers. This is wrong. Vladimir Putin has acted in a craven manner, but that shouldn't trick the U.S. establishment into adopting the false narrative that Zelensky is a paragon of democratic leadership. He is not. In the span of 2 years, Zelensky has made moves that bear a striking resemblance to the tactics employed by Vladimir Putin. Zelensky's actions include the banning of 11 opposition parties and the consolidation of all state media into a single entity. These actions not only mirror Putin's refusal to register opposition parties, but also extensive government control under the media landscape. We have more than fulfilled the U.S. commitments to Ukraine in the 1994 Budapest Memorandum, even as we have badly violated James Barker's February 1990 not 1 inch commitment to the Soviet Union's then President Mikhail Gorbachev about limiting NATO expansion. We will be Uncle Sucker no more. With over $135 billion in funding already provided, Ukraine should easily be able to allocate 0.1% of that to pay for the election. Of course, the mainstream media and the establishment will say that any money that the U.S. sends to support Ukraine is strictly itemized and audited, so it can't be used in that way. This is a joke funnier than Zelensky could have written in his prior career as a comedian. Don't forget that in June, the Pentagon discovered an accounting error that artificially created an extra $6.2 billion for Ukraine without congressional approval. The notion that all money and military equipment being sent to Ukraine is being carefully tracked is deeply dishonest. Americans deserve the truth, unquote. So a little bit of a long quote, but of course it went viral, and he has a lot of damn good points. Again, $135 million. Why should Zelensky wants us to pay to secure the election? I think that, again, I kind of agree with his statement because, again, we've given them $135 billion. And yet, we still can't arm teachers in the United States to protect our schools. We can't put a Marine in front of every United States public school because it costs money. But we just gave them $135 billion? Really? We can't fix our roads in the United States in some areas, but we can give them $135 billion? Shows the United States priorities these days. Now, in terms of the response, and again, these statistics were all taken at the 5th hour mark, so 5 hours after he originally posted, he got 370,000 views and 3,852 likes, giving a ratio of 1.04%. Now, this also goes to show the virality of Vivek, comparing him to the other Republican nominees who are trying to become president. I look at everything by Ron DeSantis, and if on their best day, they will hit around 350,000, and I think that happens maybe every other week. And then you look at other candidates, such as Nikki Haley, her average hit, and then these are all statistics from LinkedIn, views, is usually between 20 and 60. And this is just data I've looked at the past 2 weeks, looking at their Twitter profiles and all that kind of stuff. Now, it looks like most of the comments are positive for Vivek. You have Hajar Singh Kudra saying, quote, "Thank you for your comments on U.S. relations with Ukraine and the questions you raised regarding Americans' role in Ukraine domestic affairs. While it's crucial to scrutinize any foreign aid and hold all leaders accountable." That got 10,300 views and 61 likes. So not the best ratio of 0.59%, but it looks like most of these responses are pretty popular and supportive of Vivek. It's not too surprising if you think about it for many reasons, one of them being Vivek was one of the only Republican nominees on the stage during the GOP debate who actually questioned, why are we sending Ukraine hundreds of billions of dollars when, again, most Americans can't point to them on a map? And it really doesn't help us out in much ways. You can debate that there are some goods that we buy for Ukraine, including fertilizer and Porsche parts, but does it really have a direct correlation in the United States? I mean, I really want to hear the argument about protecting borders from the people who would acquiesce from protecting the United States borders, which is hilarious that the same people with the Ukraine flag on their profile pictures say that the United States should have open borders. But why if Ukraine gets them, why not us? That's interesting. So most people on the look at responses are supporting Vivek. You have a couple of people like this is Biscuit Lap, interesting name. This person said, quote, I believe Biden is being blackmailed by Ukraine. He got 24 likes out of 1,276 views, which the best investment in history has to be Burisma and the Ukrainian government paying Hunter Biden about, $74,000 per month for 2 years and now getting $135 billion. Like, if you look at finances, that's the best ROI you'll ever get in your life. The return on investment on that is unprecedented. And yeah, you do actually, it's funny, people deny the footage exists. Biden actually laughed when he was saying, oh yeah, I got that guy fired because I said if you don't stop this investigation, you're not getting this $1 billion in aid from the United States, which some that own a dictionary might call extortion or illegal. Some. So it's interesting to see Vivek kind of consistently staying viral as the topics keep growing to the forefront. It'll be interesting to see what topics American people care about the most as the election slowly gets closer and closer, and what will be the deciding factors that lead them to decide which nominee they want for the Republican Party, and subsequently who they want as president for the United States. Thank you, everyone, again for taking the time to tune in. I know it's a high ambition. I'm trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of September, so if you click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, really appreciate the comments and the likes. The comments really help build the channel, grow and develop, as well as if you have individual experiences with these topics. Love hearing more frontline experience, whether it's the ongoing UAW United Auto Workers strike, or maybe someone who has some firsthand experience working at an automobile company who can maybe tell us why they're killing all these beautiful stick shifts to go with automatics. So any insight is also greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.